But first, it hasn't taken them long, has it? They're out already with the predictable tripe that last Friday's terror attack in Melbourne is the fault of everyone and everything except radical Islam. Last night, you'll remember, we covered Labor MP Anne Aly's comments that tried to put terrorism in the same rubric as domestic violence. Then there are all the commentators on the ABC and in the Fairfax Press saying that it was just a mental health episode, not Islamist terrorism. And yesterday, the head imam at the terrorists' own mosque went out and publicly blamed police and, quote, the bloody Prime Minister, as he called him, for spending billions on national security but not stopping madmen on the streets. Yep. Never mind that this madman was in his own mosque. It's all the police's fault and the PM. Australians have had enough of the apologetic hand-wringing that happens as predictable as clockwork after terrorist attacks like this. Domestic violence is worse, she basically said. He was just mentally ill, said others. When will we learn the difference between humanity's age-old crimes of passion or greed and politically motivated violence that targets a whole country or class of people because of an entirely irrational hatred? It wasn't that Sisto Malaspina owed his killer money or had personally affronted him. The Melbourne icon was struck down because he happened to be the first person this deranged killer came across. Yes, Hassan Khalif Shire Ali was mad. You'd have to be, to think that God commands you to kill people simply because they don't share your idea of religion. But there's only one religion that still entertains the notion of death to the infidel, which is why Islamic lunatics are especially dangerous. That isn't necessarily mentally ill. People with mental illnesses, they don't usually pack their cars with gas bottles, hoping for an explosion that wreaks death and destruction on a busy street. People with mental illness don't normally travel or seek to travel to Syria to join a terrorist army fighting against Australia and its allies. People with mental illness don't normally consort online with people like Khalid Sharif, the notorious severed head terrorist, or mix with Yaqub Khayyar, the Brighton siege terrorist who killed a Melbourne apartment receptionist just last year. And people with mental illness don't normally have partners who is reported today refusing to cooperate with investigators. As Prime Minister Scott Morrison said yesterday, we have to stop making excuses for people who kill in the name of God. Yes, such people are, by our standards, crazy. But in their minds, it's religion that validates everything they do. And that's why it's so important that Muslim religious leaders make it crystal clear again and again and again, every time there's the slightest suggestion of religiously inspired violence, that God can never command the killing of innocent people. But instead of doing just that, we've had the Council of Imams complaining about Islamophobia and racial targeting. Other religions have had to own up to the challenges in their midst, yet with Islam, we're supposed to just excuse this away as an Islamophobia counterattack time and time again.